Yeah, that's right. I said what I said, and I said it, I meant it. Den of punctuality, exactly, Chris. Let's get it. Let's get it, baby. What up, ladies and gentlemen? It's time. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. Time to get live and talk our shit, bro. It's time to get live and talk our shit. And look, here's the thing. I got to tell you guys right away, a little bit of bad news. It's just a little bit. Okay? Shorter stream today. My fault. I scheduled a hair appointment. This is part of the reason that I have this hat on. I was trying to make my hair work, but the shit is like, once it gets to a certain length, it becomes like a kraken or some kind of eldritch monster from like an H.P. Lovecraft story. It does very bizarre things. It was like moving on my head and shit. So I had to put the hat on. So I got to go at noon. So we got less than an hour. You guys were late. Not my fault. So we have less than an hour. But also kind of cool thing going on with that, actually. Liam's getting his first haircut too. So I'm going to get my haircut and then Liam's getting his first haircut. It's going to be really, really cool. I'm excited. So I definitely want to get kind of like right into what we want to talk about today. There's a lot going on. And so I want to kind of like just, thanks, Carl. I just want to give like some takes and talk about a few things. And then we'll do Q&A and get into what you guys want to talk about. Because I know you guys have a lot of questions. It seems like there's always shit popping off. Always stuff that it's like, dude, what does this mean? Or what's going on with this? Or what's your take on that? And I love it. I love it. I fucked up and I have to leave in an hour. So let's get right into it. How is everybody doing? Oh, and before we get into everything that's going on, show notes tomorrow, we are going to be doing a watch party for Star Wars Visions, but it's going to be for members only. It's also going to be much later. Okay, because tomorrow I'm going to see Guardians at 3. I'm doing a little review about Guardians. Then after that, we'll go live. So I'll probably get out of the movie like around 6. I'll get home. I'll try to like get the video out really, really quick. And then my plan right now is 8:30. 8:30 p.m. We'll go live with the members. Probably be a little bit of a later stream because I want to like bullshit and just chat it up and talk. And then we'll watch Visions together and we'll react to it. Friday morning. Unfortunately, also another short stream. It's a weird one because I'm going out of town this weekend. I have this like big fancy trip that I'm really excited about. But we will be talking full spoilers about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Reviews seem pretty good. A lot of people seem to really like the movie. I think it's tracking a little bit higher than it was in the box office before, which is great. Hopefully it crushes this weekend. I think Marvel fans could use a W. I would love to be, ecstatic and have positive headlines to talk about next week. If the movie makes the high end of its projections or exceeds expectations in the projections, that's very good news for Marvel and for Guardians, and we will talk about that. If it does not, we're going to talk about that too. So we'll just see how it all goes with all of that. Okay. So I guess there are several things that I wanted to get into. The main thing, guys, and I wanted to talk about this. I put the thumbnail up there because it's kind of like a little bit of therapy for me. As many of you know, I am a fan of Kevin Feige. Maybe a simp for Kevin Feige. I could accept that. I could accept that title. I absolutely love this guy. I think what he did with the Marvel Cinematic Universe is an incredible accomplishment. It was ridiculous. Obviously, Infinity War and Endgame, probably a big reason as to why we are all here right now in this chat talking about it. Crazy, crazy good stuff. So I love Kevin Feige. Now, I will say, of course, Phase 4 and the beginning of Phase 5 a little bit shaky, and I'm like, yo, Feige, what's going on there? However, I do think that a lot of that stuff is being ironed out, and we're going to watch. The thing that's crazy about this is we will literally watch together over the next couple of years, and we will see for ourselves, is this guy going to get back on track? Is he going to accomplish something that I think would just solidify him as like the GOAT, which is taking Marvel from this really low kind of dipped in quality period into the glory days? Then if he does that, I think we'll all sit back and be like, yeah, he's the GOAT. That's absolutely incredible, right? However, all of that aside, I was personally really excited for Kevin Feige Star Wars. The moment that shit was announced, right? Oh, I was so excited for it. I was so hyped up. And I do wonder, how many of you guys were there? How many of you guys were there when that announcement first came out? And I was so hyped up about it. Like, do you remember the early days? Man, this was like around the time of The Rise of Skywalker. And Feige did the Star Wars show himself. All kinds of reports and people talking about Kevin Feige doing Star Wars. Awesome, dude. It was hype, dude. Hype city. Now, it never panned out, obviously. And the story of what was going on behind the scenes is, like, personally for me, really, really triggering. Because I don't know if you knew this or not, but I really don't like Kathy Kennedy. I'm not a fan. And in fact, I would say I have a bit of animus or animosity towards Kathleen Kennedy for her handling of an IP that I really, really love, okay? And I remember about a year ago, maybe it was like a little over a year ago, I remember talking on Nerd Theory about this. And actually, I think one of the people, I started to hear all these different rumblings about this, but one of the people that actually told me this straight up on Nerd Theory, and we got to find, I would love it if somebody found the clip of this. I mean, that's a journey, like finding that. That's like a needle in the haystack, right? But if one of you guys can find that shit would be awesome, because there was a moment where Mark Fernandez said, the word around town is that Kathy is not going to let Kevin Feige make his movie because she doesn't want to get upscaled by Kevin Feige. Okay? And I remember when I first heard that, my stomach sank and I was like, bro, no way. There's no way that that's actually going to be the way that it happened, right? But then we heard like more and more about that over the course of the next year. And then about a month ago now, there was this huge article put out, I believe it was done by Puck, and they were talking about how essentially the Kevin Feige Star Wars movie was something put in place by Alan Bergman, and it was literally to placate Kathy Kennedy and sort of like shove her a little bit to the side and allow the GOAT, the greatest producer of all time, to come in and make his Star Wars movie, right? And Kathy never took it seriously, kept it at arm's length. And yo, I remember when Multiverse of Madness came out, and there were reports in the Hollywood trades about how Michael Waldron was working on Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie. There was like a big it was like a huge deal, right? And I even remember saying then, this feels like them battling it out in the press. It feels like Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige's camp is leaking to the press this kind of stuff to really put the ball in the court of Kathleen Kennedy. And if the rumors we've heard are true about Kathy pushing this away because she didn't want to look bad, are true, then we're definitely seeing like a fight in the press. And I think personally, especially considering the report that we recently got, all that shit is proven correct. And it sucks. I hate it. Okay, I'm really, really angry about the fact that we could have gotten Kevin Feige, Michael Waldron, Star Wars, and instead we're going to get another Rey movie in a couple years, right? I think that's fucking ridiculous. But the thing that came out yesterday, guys, the thing that came out yesterday, I thought I was done. I thought I was done talking about this thing. I remember it was like a bunch of people were like yelling at me and saying like, Josh, like, don't become a grifter. And I was like, okay, well, look, here's an example of why I'm not a grifter. I'm super triggered by this Kevin Feige Star Wars Kathleen Kennedy thing. I could make a big video about it and it would blow up, but I'm so depressed by it that I don't even want to do that. I'd rather talk about other things. And then you guys were all like, yeah, go make that video. And I'm like, I don't think you guys understand what is going on here. What the fuck is going on here? Like, what's going on? And at that moment, I was like, I'm done with this. As much as it hurts, as much as I think it's bullshit, as much as I'm like fucking furious about it, I'm not going to bring it up. I'm not going to do another stream about it. I'm not going to get triggered. But what we just heard is that apparently the Russo brothers were in early talks to come over and do Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie. So I just want to explain what this would have been. A Kevin Feige produced Star Wars movie with Michael Waldron as the writer and the fucking Russo brothers. The fucking Russo brothers. Now, here's the thing. The Russo brothers, kind of weird these days. Like, they've got a little bit of a checkered kind of thing, right? You know, like, I just watched Citadel, which I don't even know. People were telling me, like, they didn't direct it. Did they write it? Like, what? Why did they put their name on Citadel? Citadel sucks balls, right? And I think a lot of the stuff they've done with Netflix has been garbage. So there's a sort of asterisk here because it's like, okay, what's going on with these guys? Did they just work really well within the MCU system? And without the MCU system to sort of prop them up or back them up, they're not as good? That's possible. Is it just the fact that they're being much more experimental now and therefore the stuff is just not as mass appeal? Maybe they're not even going for mass appeal anymore. I'm not sure. But I think, you know, regardless of how you feel about that specifically, it does appear to be the case that they work really well with Kevin Feige. Let me ask you a question, chap. Yes or no? Would you be excited if the Russo brothers did indeed direct Secret Wars? Despite all the sort of, you know, would you be excited if the Russo brothers came back to direct Secret Wars? We got to go to the polls. We got to go to the polls. What the hell? Boom. There it is. There it is. Interesting. Yeah, so you see the point that I'm trying to make, right? And it's bared out in the data. It might shift a little bit as more and more people vote on the poll, but my point is this, like, if they would have actually made this Star Wars movie with Kevin Feige, the Russo brothers, and Michael Waldron, I think we would have been pretty fucking ecstatic about it, dude. And I want you to just, this is why, like, maybe some of you guys are like, I don't get it. Why are we still talking about this? They're not making the movie. What the fuck? Listen, I want you to imagine and hold two things in your mind. I want you to think about a Russo brothers, Kevin Feige, Michael Waldron Star Wars movie. Just think about that. Think about the lead up to it, the press, the announcements, the trailers, the press tour. Think about going to see it. Think about sitting in the line to go see the Kevin Feige Russo brothers Star Wars movie, okay? I want you to hold that image in your mind. Now, hold this image. Steve Knight, Charmin Obed Chinoy, and Kathleen Kennedy. That team that Star Wars movie. Think about what that's going to be like in the lead up to the film. Think about what that's going to be like with the press, with the trailers. Think about what it's going to be like standing in line for that movie. And I want you to hold both of those images and just juxtapose them against each other. Guys, we live in a world where we're going to receive one of these experiences and it's not the one we want. It's fucking crazy. And the main reason, and this is another thing where it's like, yo, like, I'm sorry until she's gone or I'm gone. The bitch gotta go. It's ridiculous. And the reason we're not getting that movie, the one I'm describing, the fucking diamond in the rough, is because Kathleen Kennedy doesn't want Kevin Feige to outshine her. Guys, a quarter that was eaten by a wolf and shit out could outshine Kathleen Kennedy. What are we doing here? This is fucking ridiculous. And so I got to get it off my chest. I got to vent a little bit. I kind of can't believe we live in that world. Anyway, moving right along. I want to talk about the Fantastic Four stuff. Okay, I want to talk about the Fantastic Four for a little bit here. And then I want to talk about the writer's strike. Then we'll get into Q&A, okay? So, we're getting a lot of information out there about the Fantastic Four. I did a big video about it yesterday. Highly recommend everybody goes and checks that video out. Check it out twice if you're feeling it. It's really good. It breaks down not only the latest on the casting reports, but some plot leaks, some really interesting speculation. It's a really, really fun video. Go check it out. But a couple of things I want to talk about with regards to this. Because I was having a lot of conversations with people kind of behind the scenes, and we're just talking about this shit, you know what I mean? Like, wow, this is pretty interesting, etc., etc. And I saw Grace Randolph's live stream about this, okay? And as you guys know, what's up, Andre? Good to see you in the tower. As you guys know, I am, generally speaking, a big fan of Grace, despite many of you not being that. I like her takes. But she said something in her video yesterday that not only triggered the fuck out of me, but like sent me on a whole like mental journey down a rabbit hole of thought when it comes to the Fantastic Four. Okay? So what she said was, she first of all said that the cast for the Fantastic Four has been finalized. According to her sources, the cast is finalized. Okay? Pretty interesting. Apparently, it looks like it will be Adam Driver. Okay? It looks like Adam Driver's going to be Reed Richards. I think W. Now, it does look like, and we're not 100% sure on this, but it does look like Margot Robbie will be Sue Storm. Okay? Which I still think most people are on board. By the way, I just want to know, like, what do you guys think, like, as far as Sue and Reed? Margot Robbie and Adam Driver, what do you guys think? W or L? Put it into the chat. W or L? I think it's great. I like those two, and I like those two together, frankly. That's a lot of W's. There's some L's, for sure. For sure. There's some L's, but that's a lot of W's, okay? Okay. But this was when I'm like sitting there. I'm like, you know, taking in the info. I'm like, okay, this tracks is interesting, blah, blah, blah. Yada, yada. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Then she says, the Mila Kunis thing is real. So that's now like 4 different really reliable people saying that shit's real. Okay? Now, this was the part that really kind of sent me. And I was like, what is happening here? Okay? Because she said in her video that the Mila Kunis thing is on the table because they really want diversity in this cast, but they're not sure how to do it. Okay? And man, I just gotta say, that fucking sent me. Because a lot of us look, this is just a part of the pop culture conversation, especially over the past couple of years. As I always say, your mileage may vary on how you feel about these things. We have a pretty eclectic group here. So there are going to be people that love it. There are going to be people that hate it. Whatever. Here's my point. I think most of us can agree that this, like, the idea of trying to force representation into a thing, maybe at the detriment of not only the quality of actors, but the quality of product, is bad. Like, a lot of us don't care, right? We're like for me personally, like, if they make Giancarlo Esposito as Professor X, I'm like, dude, that fits for me. It feels like he could work. I'd be interested in his take. I like him. I don't care that he's black. You know what I mean? I don't. But when you have an example like this with the Mila Kunis thing, and we're like, this is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard, and it might be actually on the table just because of the idea of diversity. So they're sitting there like, well, we've got to make this diverse. Well, we could make Mila Kunis the thing. And to me, I think that's like the epitome of like the wrong fucking way to do it. That's like the version that a lot of the detractors like hold up as an example of like, that's whack. Like, doing diversity that way is fucking whack. And so, like, imagine Marvel having good choices for the Fantastic Four cast, but there's one hang up. And that's that they need a little diversity on the team. And so they're going to fuck with the good cast and all these great choices, like just doing the Fantastic Four because of diversity. Is that not the thing that we all say they shouldn't do? Is that not the worst example of inclusion and diversity? Like, that's fucking crazy. And so that shit sent me, dude. I was like, bro, what? There's no way. And so I was curious, right? I'm like, damn, like this whole like diversity thing and like what's going on with Hollywood right now. I had a couple conversations with people behind the scenes where I asked these people, I said, do you think that Marvel could be going in this direction with the Fantastic Four partially because of some of the anti-woke backlash? Okay? Because, guys, I think it was like 3 years ago, Andy Signor talked about how they were dead set on a diverse cast for the Fantastic Four, okay? About a couple of months ago, the word from like in the scooping community was that it was going to be like an all Latina cast. Like, they were all going to be Latin, Latino, whatever, you know? And we literally went from that to, you know, so far, pretty fucking white cast. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty mayo, bro. Like, Adam Driver, Margot Robbie, they're like white. You know what I mean? Like, pretty fucking white. And so I was talking to people behind the scenes, and I was like, do you think this could at all be being done because of some of the backlash? And then, like, basically then I started thinking about this shit, and I'm like, wait, do motherfuckers even care about that shit? Right? And I want to show you what may shock you. And that's a little poll I did, trying to gauge how people would view this. Okay? So check this shit out. I asked, and I tried to word this in like a very neutral way. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't want to be like, would you love a not woke Fantastic Four? Or like whatever some other motherfucker would do. I was like, no, like I want to know, really, will people be upset if the Fantastic Four cast is not diverse at all? We got 3 hours left. It's like just over 6,000 views. And I mean, look at this fucking poll, dude. Like, look at this poll. Guys, and also, I think it is worth looking at some of the comments too, right? So this guy says, I choose no. I'm Asian, by the way. LOL. Yeah. And by the way, this dude, he's a DJ in Japan. Awesome dude. Likes my stuff, likes like nerd theory and shit. I actually hope to meet him. He said he would take me around Tokyo in 2025 if I came for Star Wars Celebration. Super cool dude. But you're going to be shocked at how many of these fucking kind of posts you see. I put yes, but I meant no, my bad. Jesus Christ. 91%. People like when it stays true to the source. I would love the MCU's Fantastic Four looking like the Fantastic Four, as I'm not racially treating them differently from any non-Euro, non-white characters. I want to stay accurate. Also, if the race doesn't matter, give it to anybody, downplays non-Euro character importance. I'm going to be honest, I got a little lost there. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe I just haven't had enough coffee. What I do want is a more well-written, powerful character like Namor. I think the Fantastic Four, understandable to be... What the fuck? I don't think we need any project to be diverse. Okay. It shouldn't. Comic accurate. I still trying to... okay. They already made Kang black. Reed should be too. LOL. Plus, I'm just good off Kylo Ren. Okay. Some people didn't understand the assignment. Doesn't need diversity. I'd be upset if Ben Grimm is not Jewish. That's the only thing. He must be Jewish. Okay. Totally fair. I don't care as long as they're good. Give people what they want. Either Krasinski or Blunt. Driver, someone else, period. So this is someone that doesn't like Margot Robbie. As a diverse person, this still makes sense. Yeah. I don't care. As long as the script is good, it doesn't matter. The quality of the actor is much more important if they check race or gender quota. Jesus Christ. I accidentally said yes, and I feel so ashamed. Okay, awesome. I'm black, and I wouldn't care at all. I don't want to cast actors just because they're famous and fan picks. Please just pick the person that embodies the character. It's a good take. I just want better content than the last one with Michael B. Jordan as Human Torch and other actors. I want great acting as well. I don't mind whether it's diverse or not. Fair. I want original Fantastic Four cast. Okay. No, they have diversity with other characters in the MCU. No, not at all. Like, it's just overwhelming. And there are a lot of people that are saying, I'm a minority, and I don't give a fuck, basically. Just like over and over again. Like, as a black person, I care more about the story plot than the diversity for the sake of quote-unquote modern audiences. And the reason I bring this up, right? Like, I feel like we've gotten to a point, and I'm not sure exactly how we got here, but I feel like we've gotten to a point where, like I said, like this whole thing of like the Mila Kunis thing, it just seems like it's the perfect example where it's like, do you want a non-diverse cast or do you want Mila Kunis as the thing? And we're all like, fuck! Like, give me the Mayo Fantastic Four. I don't want this shit anymore. Right? And man, the people I was talking to yesterday, like, we all kind of had the same vibe where we were like, yeah, I feel like just people are over that shit. And I feel like Disney took it to this weird place where it almost became a parody, a fucking meme. And now it's like even those of us, like, because again, there's a big like anti-woke crowd, get woke, go broke kind of crowd, right? And they've been online for a long time. I personally feel like when those motherfuckers first started it up, I was like, nah, you guys are out of pocket. Like, it's not that bad. And it literally feels like Hollywood was like, hold my beer. And then just went fucking crazy with it. Like, fucking crazy with it, dude. And it's like, damn, like, I don't know how we got here, but it's just like, it's just shocking to me. It's just so weird. And at the end of the day, like, Marvel might, and we don't know, because I don't think they're going to do this with Mila Kunis. Hopefully not, because the backlash has been pretty incredible. But we might literally be at a place where Marvel's might do one of the stupidest fucking things they've ever done in the name of diversity. And it's like, what are you guys trying to do? Are you trying to, like, prove these fuckers right? Like, what is going on over there? I don't understand it, man. And I just wanted to bring it up because, like, it just feels like the perfect example to be like, bro, just do the fucking Fantastic Four. Holy shit. You don't need to tinker it so that you get a bunch of, like, anime profile picture motherfuckers on Twitter to be happy. Who gives a shit? Oh my God. Okay, next subject. And don't worry. Don't worry. We're going to get into Q&A. Everybody can speak their piece. We're going to get into it. As if we weren't controversial enough. As if we haven't triggered enough people. We now got to give some hot takes about the writer's strike. And hang on as I pat myself down. Okay. Man, you cuss a lot. I do. Sorry. But not sorry. Okay. The writer's strike. Before I give my thoughts, I'd like to know from you, how do you guys feel about the writer's strike? Like, where's your thoughts when it comes to the writer's strike? Full support. Poll it. It's cringe AF. Another? Good. No! Blade won't get made now. I'm pro writer strike. I don't care until my movies get delayed. Okay, fair take. I'll go to the polls on this. I'm just not sure how to poll it. Let me try to figure this out. How do you feel about the writer's strike? Let's go full support. Like, that's like what I'm saying. How do I quantify, like, supporting it, but I don't really know what the fuck it's about, and I'm like, whatever. Like, how do I say that? Like, let's go support, but not engaged, maybe. Then let's go don't care. Is that fair? So it's like full support but not engaged, and then don't care, and then maybe don't support. Let's try that. It's kind of a hard one to quantify, but see what you guys think. I'm pretty interested, man. Living wage is a laughable term. Oh, hang on, Trip. Hang on. I can't go there yet. Let's wait a little bit. Wow, pretty split, huh? Pretty split. Wow. That's pretty interesting. Huh. That is pretty interesting. So is Fabs on strike? As far as I'm concerned, he's been on strike for years. A lot of the shit that we've just had to watch over the past couple of years, I'm like, wait, motherfuckers wrote that? Unbelievable. There was actually somebody that wrote that, and they want royalties for the book of Boba Fett. But hang on. Let's be fair. It looks like right now, about 60% of the chat supports the writer strike, but it is split 50-50 about, with people that support but are not really engaged, and then people that like fully support it are like fucking into it, man. You know? Okay. So, I have a lot of thoughts about this. Let's try to steel man it from both sides. Okay? And to be completely frank with you guys, I haven't fully looked into the details of what they want. I know some of the things that the writers want. Like, for instance, and yo, chat, help me out with this. Help me out a little bit here. Here's what I think it is, right? So they want better compensation, and I think mostly that comes through more royalties, especially when it comes to Netflix. Unless I am wrong, Netflix is one of the major holdouts in this whole agreement. And the Writers Guild wants royalties and better payment for working on streaming shows. Okay? And they also want a minimum amount of human writers to be on staff for different productions. And this is a way for like not having AI be a part of the process, or to keep AI away from the shows. They want to make sure that the writers continue to have a job. Okay? So unless I'm mistaken, that's really what it's about from the writer's perspective. Okay? Now, let's steel man that argument. Okay? I think the steel man for the writers is that the writers are and have been the foundation for how this entertainment comes to be, right? Without the writers, you don't really get the show. You don't have the movies. Writers, very important, the bedrock of this process. And I think it is fair to say that writers in general are not getting the piece of the pie of profit that is equivalent to the piece of the pie of, I guess, effort, but it's not really effort. It's more like being integral to the process, right? I also think it is absolutely fair for this group of people to look at technology, to look at how this is changing, and to strike to try to put something in place to protect their jobs and livelihood at a time when technology is changing all kinds of jobs, okay? Now, let's steel man the case of the studios and of Netflix, okay? So, here's my thing. If Disney Plus can't make fucking money, if streaming isn't the golden goose that these companies thought it once was, if foot traffic in movie theaters is on average way down, how can the companies agree to long-term situations with the writers, contracts and compensation, when they don't even know what the industry looks like a year from now? I don't envy these companies. I don't envy the writers. It's a weird, tricky situation. I think for a lot of these companies, they are looking at some really bleak futures. I think the problem is both parties are actually looking at a pretty bleak future, and both are trying to like avoid that in some way, right? So like from the perspective of the writers, like I totally get it and I totally understand it, but I'm also really apathetic to the people that are running these companies. I think the trouble is that there is no real solution here, because the writers are striking right now, yes, but you're going to probably see in the next couple of years strikes from almost every type of workforce that can organize. Because a lot of people, when looking at like AI and quantum computing and automation and a lot of the stuff that's going on. It's probably going to affect 70 to 80% of the workforce. So it's weird. And I don't know what the solution is, but I think this will probably be the first of many different strikes and, workers' movements and things of that nature. Like, one of the really under-reported things that happened in the past couple of months was a massive strike in France. How many of you are familiar with the massive strike in France? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody? Bueller? Okay. So here's where a little bit of my issue comes in, and it is just a personal issue. But the leadership in France used a loophole, something like a veto, to move retirement age up when you would get benefits from the government 2 years further down the road for people. And they did it maybe illegally, certainly didn't do it through the democratic process. Okay? And there were millions of motherfuckers out there protesting. And the problem is, I promise you, you will see way more about this writer's strike on the news in the mainstream media than you did with that strike in France. The situation in France is, frankly, far more egregious than what is happening in Hollywood with workers that are volunteering to be in that industry, right? I also think that it's a little bit fucked up that we might see 70 to 80% of the jobs on the planet either go away or be diminished a lot, and yet we're worried about royalties for motherfuckers working in Hollywood? It just feels like there's an inordinate amount of attention on this issue as compared to the issues that are facing the majority of the planet. And so I just do I want the writers to be paid and compensated well? Absolutely. And frankly, they should have been getting a bigger piece of the pie already. But I also look at where we're at right now, and I'm like, well, we kind of all might be fucked, frankly. And if you want to subsidize, here's my thinking on this, okay? Are we literally going to have a quota of writers you need on a project, even if those writers are not actually needed on the project? So that's, socialism. I'm not completely against that. I actually am a fan of UBI, Universal Basic Income. If you want to subsidize the income or the livelihood of a human, even though they are not actually providing value to the system any longer, I'm okay with that. But you got to do it for everybody. You got to do it for everybody, not just people that have a Hollywood address. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I think for me, maybe I'm in the support but not engaged kind of place. You know what I mean? Look, either way, we're going to be facing some pretty difficult situations in a lot of different industries pretty rapidly. So that's the take. That's the take. One last thing before we get into Q&A. Just to give you guys an idea of how fast this technology is moving. When Andrew Yang was doing a presidential run in 2020, one of the big things he was talking about was automation coming for jobs. And one of the things he talked about was the fact that all of these truckers out there were going to get replaced by self-driving vehicles and lose their livelihood. And that automation was real. And a lot of people said then, and this was a lot of Silicon Valley motherfuckers, they said, Learn to code. How many of you guys remember this? Put a 1 into the chat. Learn to code. How many of you guys remember this? Well, do you know that coding and white collar, 80,000 plus a year jobs are now the most in danger to be replaced by AI? Software engineers, your time is numbered. That shit is ticking. ChatGPT can write and debug. So in 2 years' time, we went from learn to code to ban AI. Like, the shit is moving fast, dog. And maybe instead of like hyper fixating on like one example of how the disparity, just because it affects your show or whatnot, I just think a broader look is fair. You know what I mean? And I don't blame people for not having a lot of apathy for who they consider to be already elite and doing really, really well. It's a wild one. It's a wild one. Yeah, learn to plumb. Probably a better move, Adam. Real talk. So anyways, now that we've sort of rapid fire in succession gone through all this super controversial stuff, I need to fly through the Q&A because then I got to go get my hair cut. Okay. Matthew, first in today, says, yo, Josh, thanks so much for helping me out on a journey of self-pity and victimization last year. You demand. Now that I am coming out of that and I can't do it mindset, it's really crazy to see how prevalent it is. Yeah, I get it, man. I totally get it. And I don't even know exactly what advice I gave you. But the truth is, man, you pulled yourself out of that. You made decisions, you made changes, and you turned your perspective. So you owe yourself a lot. Frog Eater says, don't believe the WGA site's claims that Ahsoka 8 episodes are 60 minutes long each, Josh. WGA said the same thing for Mando and Andor episodes, and it was BS. I think they'll each be 45 minutes long on average. Yeah, you're probably right. I saw that pop up today. Somebody else brought that up on Twitter, and it's a fair point. It's a fair point. Vora says, brother, is it true you and Elisa met through work? If so, what was your opening line to her? I have many leather-bound Warhammers, and I'm kind of a big deal. Haha, much love, mate. Much love. Yeah, so you know what's very interesting about that? Like, a lot of people, I don't know if this is true statistically now, but back in the day when I was looking at it, it was a couple of years ago, it was something like 70-80% of people that got married met at work. But it kind of makes sense. Like, 80% of your life is usually at work. Like, we literally, like, I don't want to get too deep. I don't want to get too crazy. But, yeah, we spend a lot of time at work, right? And our opening line to each other, I don't even remember fully what it was, but we had a platonic relationship and a work relationship for a long time. We just worked together, like, throughout the pandemic and just grew close and then realized we had feelings for each other. And so that's the way that it went down. And yes, the nerdiness was absolutely a hook for sure. H. Chris says, what's up with these Ahsoka lengths? Yeah, so probably not going to be 60 minutes each. As the homie just pointed out, probably not going to be 60 minutes each. But I do expect them still to be longer. Frog Eater says, also, I don't think Daredevil Born Again and Deadpool 3 will be affected by the strike since all scripts are done and will still film as planned. Yeah, I think so too. I saw an article out by Jeff Snyder yesterday that I thought was really, really interesting, and he's speculating that it's possible that James Gunn will not adhere to the strike and will do what they call is crossing the picket line and write his Superman script and turn it in and make the movie on time. I'm really curious. You guys know I'm going to be watching that one real close. J.J. Abrams did the same thing when the last strike happened. J.J. Abrams like, fuck that shit, and just wrote. Mariana says, will Ahsoka be impacted by the WGA strikes? No, all those scripts are written. Mariana, it's great to see you. Flatbrush Zombie says, Bill Burr would be perfect casting for the Thing. I actually really like that. I think that would be great, but we're probably going to get Mila Kunis. Buckle up your butthole. Heron says, I went to Star Wars Night at Disneyland last night. It was awesome to be around so many Star Wars fans. Have you ever been? No, I haven't. That seems like a pretty fun experience. That would be cool. I wonder if it would just be a bunch of people coming up to me and be like, Andor's great, right? And I'd be like, Jesus Christ! Yes! I've been told that before! So, I don't know. Maybe it won't be like Twitter, though. Kyle says, thoughts on the writer's strike? Some of the things that are being discussed from both sides are hilariously disconnected. Yeah, I just gave the take. Again, I'm not completely in the know of this. I just kind of have my takes, my perspective, and what I heard. But, yeah. Bismo said, if Feige movie releases, I'll shave my head. They'll call KK Sauron or the Eye of Sauron at Lucasfilm. Just don't see it happening still. Nerd Adventures for life. Bo Din! For the win. I like that, bro. I like that, bro. And yeah, they're probably not making that movie. Which at this point, like, Feige can't. He's got to like handle business over at Marvel. But still, we could have had it all. We could have had it all. Infinite Multiverse says Theory is a straight troll for spoiling Survivor, acting like nobody has a life and can beat the game in 2 days, but has no spoiler policy for himself on Nerd Theory. I mean, I don't think he's a troll. I was a little bit though, like, damn, these motherfuckers just going for it. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from though. Angel Stark says, member for 15 months. Much love, as always, my brother. Every episode in Ahsoka is 60 minutes. Let's fucking go. Star Wars about to be saved. I still feel that it will save Star Wars, but it's probably not going to be 60-minute episodes. Hopefully, at least a couple of them are pretty long, though. Chris says, with a very generous $20 holler, has been watching you for a couple of years now, and I don't think you can get enough credit for helping closeted nerds feel normal and not weird for liking the things we like. Anyway, Spider-Man PS4 greater than Spider-Man Homecoming. Fight me. Damn, that's a hot take at the end there. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. You know, when I had a lot of friends in Philly that would be like, but why is it got to be the den of nerds, though? You know? And I was like, dude, but I want to take that word back. Like, the nerds are winning, bro. Like, we're killing it. And so that's what we try to do with the Den of Nerds and with the Nerd Avengers. Thank you, Chris, for the support. I will watch the stream or the trailer. I will watch the Dune 2, but I got to tear through these. I literally have to get out of here and like, I really have to go. Diamond G says, you the man, love your streams. Thanks, brother. Bob Kenobi, welcome back to the Nerd Avengers. Overbound Game Studio says, dump Robbie and make Mila sue. I'd be down. John says, John David Washington would be great as Doom. I haven't thought about that, but maybe. I think Disney, Marvel, Star Wars must be tone deaf. No one cares about color, only quality. I don't think it's that simple. I just think a lot of people at this point are a little bit like, yo, like, are we still doing that? Like, at what point does it get to the point where we're like, okay, we're good? The real Jesse Lee Reed says, oh, casting Mila for diversity, she would be mocapped. I know. Dude, it is so dumb. Like, you could write books about how dumb it is. The real Jesse Lee says, most Hollywood writers do mediocre work these days. If they want to raise, they need to do better at their craft. Joby Harold, I'm looking at you. Yeah, look, there's a part of me that is like, frankly, if you think you're just good with a job and you're looking out there at what's going on in the world and you're like, no, but like, I'm just good with this job, right? And like, this job should support me forever. So long as I show up at this job, I should be good, right? I gotta be honest with you. I feel like you're not reading the terrain well. I would be diversifying your bonds. You know what I mean? The talented Mr. Griffin says, so how are companies going to compensate writers for the streaming residuals? Is there an established metric? I don't think there is an established metric. I think that like Netflix doesn't do royalties at all, which is part of the problem. I think that Netflix just gives you money up front. And that's it. Now, sometimes they'll give you a lot of money, right? But like if you're a staff writer or you just like something like that, I don't think you get that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. Matthew says, a lot of high-income tech jobs will go to machines, just like a lot of manufacturing jobs went overseas. A lot of liberal Silicon Valley guys will be voting for Barron Trump mid-century. Facts. There's some truth to that, man. There is some truth to that. And we're going to see how it all shakes out. But the thing that's like, dude, it is, in my opinion, it's probably actually way worse than we're even talking about right now. Because every part of the world has an aging population and a declining birth rate. So we might have already hit peak consumption. Meaning a lot of the models and systems that we have built in the globalized economy that are built on indefinite growth. I mean, think about the United States. The United States operates at a multi-trillion-dollar deficit because we have the biggest economy and it's supposed to just grow. If we're past peak consumption, bro, shit's about to get real weird. It will be like the least of our worries that AI is writing our television shows. Like, real talk. But we don't have to go that dark. Juicy says, get them quantum risics, my man. I don't know what that means, but yes. Okay, is the shit out? Is the trailer out for Dune 2? Is it out? Less than a minute? So it's supposed to drop like right now? Is that what we're saying? IGN had it last night? No, they had a teaser, brother. Right? They couldn't have had the full trailer. Josh forgetting about Africa? No, I'm not forgetting about Africa. In what sense do you think I'm forgetting about Africa? It's premiering now? Are you saying Africa doesn't have an aging population? I promise you a lot of it does. Where the fuck? Oh, 23 seconds. It just dropped. Okay, y'all ready to watch this? By the way, bye-bye ads on this stream. And I went, Moss, where are you at? Where are you at? Moss, where are you at? I'm saying goodbye to all these ad dollars so that we can watch this Dune trailer together, okay? So don't say I never did nothing for you. Oh my good God. All right, y'all ready? Wait, let's get a little more of this in the frame. I want to see the whole big frame that'll put us to sleep like the last movie. All right, ready? Here we go.
It's breathtaking. When you see sand here, imagine water. If you dive in, you can't reach the bottom.
You dive in.
Yes, it's called swimming.
I don't believe you.
In the shadows of Arrakis lie many secrets. But the darkest of them all may remain. The end of House Atreides.
Your father didn't believe in revenge.
What if Paul Atreides were still alive?
Oh, shit.
Have you ever had a dream about your first ride?
Yo.
Don't try to impress anyone. You're brave, we all know that. Be simple. Be
Shit looks dope.
direct. Nothing fancy.
I understand.
Damn. That's cool as shit.
Nothing fancy.
You will never lose me, Paul Atreides.
Damn.
We gave them something to hope for.
That's not hope!
May thy knife chip and shatter.
That's cool, man. Hey, Warner Brothers didn't fuck us up. That's pretty nice. Thanks, Warner Brothers. Maybe they're changing their ways because we didn't get struck, although it could get blocked later. That's cool. I think that's a pretty effective trailer. Nice little teaser. And, look, they've said a lot about how this movie's going to be, like, way more action-packed than the first one. And it seems like it will be, for sure. So, I'm into it, man. What did y'all think? I think it looks good. I think it looks good. Yo, I really wish I would have gotten the chance to see the first Dune in IMAX. Because I still really dig that movie, man. I think it's great science fiction. Like, I really do. What do you guys think? Looking cool? Yeah, it looks fun, man. When's it come out? In June? Next month? Or is it like a later in the year? So, dude, this shit's gonna be really, really cool. But, like, some of my favorite stuff in, like, the Dune lore is, like, the God Emperor. And that's not Paul. That's one of Paul's kids. And so it feels like it's going to be a while before we get to that part. And like the golden path and all that kind of stuff. So I'm here for it. But maybe it'll just be a build to that. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's cool. I'm into it. The Worm Man. Dude, the Worm... Mas. The Worm Man is fucking fascinating, dude. And like how they have the one character that builds, they like build this thing so that his all-seeing vision can't actually see them. I forget what it was, like the person that I think she was like one of his lovers that ends up actually killing him, maybe. She builds this thing, or somebody else builds this thing, and it's like a place that escapes like his whatever it's called, like his vision. I forget what it's called, like precognition or something like that. I think that shit is fascinating. Like that seems really, really cool to me. Yeah. He is, but Villanueva isn't going to go that far. He's going to do Paul and the young kids. Alfonso says pass. Well, you pass, I'll smash, baby. It's all good. Different strokes, different folks. Alfonso, motherfucker. Okay, I got to get out of here. No post-credit scene. No nothing. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the stream. I'll see you on Friday. I'm sorry it's going to be weird for the next couple of weeks because I'm traveling. But still should be plenty of fun videos. By the way, not enough diversity? True. I'm actually triggered now that I think about it. One last thing. For those of you that are into the leaks, I'm going to do a video. I don't know if it'll drop today or tomorrow, but I got a video about a leak for Secret Invasion, the Skrulls, and which one of the Marvel cinematic characters are actually Skrull and what that might mean. It's going to be really, really crazy. So we'll talk about that, okay? Much love. I'll see y'all later. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.